Out here in MAGA country, we care about responsibly sourced free-range. So when I heard there was a No Kings rally, I said, yes, Queen, because I know where to get the top shelf. Right here in Nancy's backyard, San Francisco, the best wild-caught, sustainable free-range in the country. JD gasses up the jet, and as your president, I personally deliver this organic in a strafing run. Welcome to Trump Farms. It is good.
Tricia, thank you so much for being on the program today. There is a man in the streets of Chicago who is calling for left-wing protesters to grab their guns and turn them on ICE agents and kill them. This man has been identified. He, I'm sure as no shock to you, works for the university system in Chicago, the educational system in Chicago. What is the response of DHS to this individual who is clearly fomenting and inciting violence against federal authorities?
Well, it's absolutely horrendous, and we've referred him to the Department of Justice for prosecution of threats against our law enforcement, and also really to look into are these threats viable? He's not just fomenting violence against them, but he's encouraging others to take up arms against our law enforcement as well. Benny, you and I have been on multiple trips to these sanctuary cities together, including Chicago and Portland, and we've seen what our law enforcement faces, not just 1,000% increase in assaults against them, but I mean, we just saw 2-3 weeks ago, out of Dallas, there was a terrorist attack against our law enforcement there, where that deranged individual had shell casings on his bullets that said anti-ICE messages, and he left behind handwritten notes that said he wanted to bring the ultimate annihilation, the ultimate terror to law enforcement. So we're seeing this time and time again, and it's not just from these domestic deranged individuals. We're also seeing bounties on our officers' heads from Mexican cartels, including the Latin Kings gang. But I also think, of course, and we've talked about this a number of times, look at these politicians who continue to foment violence against our law enforcement, and not just with their rhetoric, but also with their conduct. If you look at J.B. Pritzker, who's saying he's going to prosecute law enforcement for simply enforcing the rule of law on the books. And then you look at Brandon Johnson, who's the mayor out of Chicago, and he's saying that there's not going to be ICE zones, and he's trying to ban them from certain places in the city. This is what you get. You embolden these lunatics. So it's wild that the left feels like they can just openly call for murder at something that is totally alien and foreign to the right. I've been to thousands of MAGA rallies, as I know you have, Tricia. I am very locked in with the online culture and community of the right. And while there are people who are definitely aggressive, right? Lock her up. Like, everyone loved that chant. That's funny. But like, nobody was ever saying, kill my political enemies. That was never, I mean, I'm telling you, I go into the deepest, darkest recesses of like the chats and the community, and we have millions and millions of followers. And so I think we have like a really good, a test subject case population for the right. And having gone to all these MAGA rallies, I've never heard that. In fact, when Joe Biden gets terminal cancer, the vast majority of the audience is just like, we're going to pray for him. Like, that sucks, for the guy. Like, that's a terrible thing to have happen to him. What's the difference here? Like, what is happening on the left now, where we just did like a 10-minute segment of all of the glorification of murder of their political enemies. And they're saying it openly in the streets. What is this? Yeah, I think there's a lack of basic humanity going on. It's tribalism gone wrong. It's really despicable to see. And I think that everyone should see that it's left, right, Democrat, Republican. This is so beyond politics. This is about basic goodness, basic humanity, caring about, your brother and sister of Christ. And it really, it's unbelievable, Benny. I think that you've done such a great job in talking about this moment, and with the legacy of your friend and so many of our heroes, Charlie Kirk. You're carrying that mantle and doing it so well, and I applaud you for continuing to bring the speech when the left doesn't want to hear it. Yeah, I mean, sure. I guess that it really does get to like the core of it, which is a spiritual problem. I was pretty stunned as I was looking through some data for a speech that that we gave this weekend, and I found that
about 60% of the Democrat Party believe in God. That number's 93% for the Republican Party. And if you don't believe in God, then you just really don't have any value for his creation. And you won't see human beings as inherently valuable and stamped with the mark of the creator. And if you don't believe in the creator, then you won't value the creation, right? And so then I guess murder makes a ton of sense if you're a Bolshevik. And it's worrying to me because I feel like that's where the country's headed, especially after this weekend. Seeing some of the content out of this weekend, and in no way was us going through 10 straight minutes of the celebration of the murder or the calling for the murder of Trump administration officials or Donald Trump. Is that the full slate, comprehensive slate of all of the murder calls this weekend? That's just what we could find. It just seems like something needs to happen. Like the left needs to perhaps police their side a lot better, ostracize people. I wonder where Democrat leadership actually is. And I guess, Trisha, for a second there, I hoped that they would come to the table, but they're running a guy for attorney general in Virginia that is straight up calling for the murder of Republican children. And he hasn't lost a single endorsement for that.
No. Just gotten more money, by the way, on that front. I mean, as far as what we've seen out of Portland and Chicago and Los Angeles over the weekend, I mean, we did see an uptick in violence once again. A lot of it you and I have seen with Antifa-affiliated individuals. Your friend, Nick Sorter, getting arrested by the police department in Portland after simply defending himself after a mob attacked him. We're seeing more of this, and we're seeing that these Antifa-aligned individuals are becoming increasingly professionalized, increasing amount of funding. And so President Trump has really directed us, follow that funding, whether it be with Secretary Bessent, Pam Bondi, a whole of government approach to make sure that we're actually figuring out who is stoking this chaos and this violence in this country, whether it be domestic or foreign.
So it's interesting. You brought up Portland a couple times here. Nick Soder is in Portland, and he's posted quite an attack last night on the ICE facility there in Portland. Now they were throwing smoke grenades. They were throwing smoke bombs. It looked like a complete war zone. It's crazy. We're loading up the clip right now, but I heard, according to the press, that Portland was safe and was beautiful and that everything was fine there. This doesn't look like everything is fine.
Yeah, don't believe lying eyes, right?
Yeah. It's just like hell on earth, Christian. So this is the state. This is the state of Portland last night. What's the status right now?
There were at least 10 arrests there yesterday. Those were of rioters, not of illegal aliens on the ground there. But we just got a ruling from a federal judge that that the president does have the authority to send the National Guard to Portland to make sure that the public is safe, make sure that our facility there that is under siege and has been for months, that is safe and secure, and to make sure our law enforcement is safe and give those men and women that you're seeing right now the backing that they need. They have been under siege for months. And the fact of the matter is Secretary Noem has met with the mayor of Portland. She's met with the governor. They fail and refuse to do anything. They call this peaceful protesting, as you're seeing, quite frankly, a war zone in front of you. And so thank God President Trump did send that National Guard out there, and we're going to be seeing them on the ground here in the next couple of days. So the National Guard will be deployed in Portland and will prevent scenes like this. It looks like a war. It's a failed state. This looks like a failed state, a sunken state. We were there in Portland. We were there in Chicago, and I watched as the violent protesters attacked federal authorities, and I heard their stories. Sticks, bricks, stones, rocks, bottles of piss being thrown at them at all times. Many people upset that President Trump posted a meme of him with a crown and a jet when their side is literally trying to kill federal authority. Like they're upset about a meme when their side is literally trying to kill federal officers. Yeah, it's unbelievable, but it's intentional. It's planned. We know that this is a broader plan that's going on, and it has to be stopped. And that starts with the funding, and that starts also with giving law enforcement the backing that they need. So in Chicago, obviously, there was quite a few protesters. There was a protester that was calling for people to shoot ICE. There was a teacher that was making a reenactment motion of Charlie Kirk's death.
what will happen to these people? So there's the one individual that's been referred to the DOJ. What will happen to the people that are openly calling for the, aside from why that's happening, the spiritual question, which perhaps should be left to the theologians, or just leave them up to God, why their souls are so sunken. What happens from a judicial perspective to these people that are openly calling for murder of Trump and celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Well, threats of violence are not free speech as much as the left might want you to believe it is. It's not. These individuals will be referred to the Department of Justice as we see it. I know the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, she's very much aware of this, and her team is all over this. So we are expecting to see prosecutions, because we're seeing that this violent rhetoric is turning into violence. We've seen that time and time again now.
Well, we really hope for that. And we would hope perhaps, you can conclude with just a message to Democrat leaders, because, I'm telling you, Tricia, you've worked in this game for a long time. So have I. I have absolutely no tolerance for anyone on the right. If somebody on the right was calling for the murder of Democrat children, so someone on the right is running for office and they're calling for the murder of Democrat children. Let's kill Democrats and their kids because their kids are little communists. How quickly would I disavow that person? How quickly would you disavow that person? How easy would it be to strip them off the ballot, right? And say, no, of course you shouldn't run for a law enforcement office. That would be very easy. That'd be very obvious. But it's maybe a message to Democrat leaders who are putting in jeopardy Republicans, and especially the federal agents that work at DHS every single day.
Yeah, I think you have to look in the mirror. These politicians have to look in the mirror and see beyond the tribalism of our politics. This is about basic humanity. This is about being a decent and moral human being. The fact of the matter is that our law enforcement, they're facing prevalent doxing. Their children, where they go to school, where their spouses work, is being put on the dark web, and they're being targeted not just by these left-wing lunatics, but also by members of cartels and highly sophisticated criminal rings. At some point, you have to find within yourself that even if you have a policy differential with someone, they should still have the ability to go home at night to their children and their family and live a safe life. So, Benny, thank you for what you're doing, for speaking the truth, and God bless you.
Well, we plan on going to Virginia, and we're going to go to Virginia, and we're going to ask Democrats if they disavow this. I just want to get it on camera. I want people to see the difference, because it really is the difference. And it can all be really divided up between the belief in God lines. I couldn't believe that data point, and it makes so much sense actually when you look at it. One final, since you do comms and you do professional comms for this really newsworthy agency, just a parting question, Tricia. I'm so proud of Caroline Leavitt at the White House making your mama jokes to left-wing reporters. I'm wondering if DHS is going to start doing that. I know you guys aren't above, cracking jokes, making dank memes.
Caroline is the GOAT, so we might have to follow her lead on this. We'll look at this.
Okay. Your mom said go to Budapest. I just when I think about the golden era, that's what I think about. That and Trump King memes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's done apologizing. I love it.
It's incredible. Speaking of a joke, just one final thing off the top of the dome. The meme. The people said it was a meme and a joke when these young men said they were going to attack ICE and get a bounty on the heads of ICE. And it was a clip that was going viral over the weekend. But it's these guys are saying threatening ICE. And Department of Homeland Security did not take this as a joke. Can you give me the status of this?
There were two separate narratives going on. It was the Eric Swalwells of the world were tweeting about this. There were even some USA Today journalists tweeting about this. First, the left was saying that we had doctored this video and changed it from an Iranian message video to anti-ICE, that we had doctored it ourselves. And then the second narrative from the influencer, the guy who posted this video, was that, he was hacked. So after he gets called out from the Department of Homeland Security for threatening ICE agents with violence, then suddenly he says he was hacked. So We referred this to the FBI, and so we'll check on the status with them. But the fact of the matter is that these politicians like Eric Swalwell and Dan Goldman, who both were posting about this and threatening to haul Secretary Noem in front of Congress for this video, are so willfully blind to the fact that there is violent threats against our law enforcement, and go so far as to create these fake narratives to cover up for these thugs.
So yeah, I mean, again, they posted a video that said, ICE, we're on our way. The streets and cartels put a $50,000 bounty on you. And it's a photo of them standing, presumably in a manner that says, we're going to go attack ICE agents and kill them for money.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to give you an update as far as from the FBI and the DOJ, but we're not backing down on this. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't some hack. The evidence will show otherwise. We have the receipts.
All right. Well, thank you, Trisha. Godspeed in your mission here. And everybody can go follow Trisha McLaughlin. She's obviously one of the legends. I would consider you a GOAT in your own right. And ladies and gentlemen, Trisha is just completely and totally fearless at the Department of Homeland Security. Couldn't be more proud of you, Trisha. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you, Benny. It's an honor.